Over the last 14 years of living in this Muslim country and traveling to other Muslim countries, I've seen the same misconception over and over again. And the misconception first comes from their idea of the Crusades. They believe that Christian men are generally associated with the West, and this would be for women as well. So if you're from the West, you are a Christian. And they have thought of Christian men as these crusading warriors that have come and invaded their lands and done unspeakable things to their women and fought with the sword, with crosses on their shields. And they have this misconception, and they have this idea of this enemy Christian warrior because it's on all of their programs. It's on their movies that they produce in the Muslim countries. It's on the TV shows that they produce. And the Christian crusader is basically portrayed as this horrible dog. And so they grow up with this idea that Christians are these horrible people, these crusaders that are the enemy, and we have to fight against this evil and fight for good and justice and against these people that would attack our lands and take our women. And that perception has continued through more movies that are produced in the West and music television that is produced in the West. When they see on television men and women portrayed in churches and wearing crosses, and they're out in gang members shooting guns, and they're women dancing in a music television, and they're scantily clad, but they're wearing a cross, and they see these people having parties. And again, they have believed that everybody in the West is a Christian, so they think, well, that's what Christians are. And that means they're crusading people that are unmerciful, that they have loose morals, that they're drunkards, use drugs, and have no respect for their mother and father. And in fact, they even believe that mothers and fathers of Christian children are even to the point where they would say they're like pimps. So they would say, well, they just let their daughters go out with any man without supervision. And so they're just pimping off their daughters. And so they have this very, very great misunderstanding of what Christians are and what Christians do, and they're only informed from their movies about what they saw from crusading movies that were made in their own country, and from what they've seen on from Hollywood and from music television. And so that is one great misconception that needs to be addressed. And it's a great misconception because it really is an obstacle for many women and men to come to faith in Jesus Christ, because they think that when they hear, oh, if I become a Christian, and if they're, say there's a mother and father, and then they find out that their daughter has become a Christian, you can imagine the veins popping out of the head of the mother and father and the grandparents and the entire generations of Muslims, and they're thinking, our daughter just became loosely an immoral woman. She's going to be a loose woman. She's going to have no respect for us anymore. And she's going to be just like these other Christians that we've seen portrayed on these films. And so they're not necessarily the obstacle, not in this instance, is not necessarily Jesus Christ himself and the salvation that he brings. It's this misconception of what a Christian actually is. And they have a name for us even, and in some of the Middle Eastern languages, Yahur or Yavur. And that has a very negative connotation for us, and that has to do with people that are from the West. So it would be important for folks like us to be able to explain to a Muslim, look, this is what a true Christian is. It's one that follows Jesus Christ, that is his disciple, and open up the scriptures and show what a disciple of Jesus Christ would look like and how he should walk, and she should walk like Jesus did. And that is something that we really need to address.